Hey everybody, Joey Bully here, the Joey you can trust, back with a Walking Dead roast battle video, featuring League Season 2, Sandy. We have Sandy in some very tight sweatpants, and unlike her camel toe showing friends, Mackenzie and Anna, Sandy does not take the thought route. Here is a list of base stats for our tanks, with one being ranked from highest defense to lowest, and the other is the bottom of the barrel of tanks, ranked with highest to lowest HP. As we can see, Sandy's defense is the second highest in the game. Even though this defense stat is super high, it really sucks, mainly because she is a red, and blues kit-wise hit extremely hard and can craft double attack weapons, making even some of the tankiest people flop over. With a defense stat this high, then you will probably want to stick someone who can buff defenses and give bonus HP. The downside here is I can see her lose quite a bit of percent HP by bleeds and burns, as her base health is very low, and also she has lower HP than the majority of damage roll survivors. I scratch my head sometimes when a tank's defensive stats are lower than a damage roll survivor, but she does have the second highest defense stat, so it makes for some decent effective HP. This attack stat she has seems pretty aggressive, to the point where she might have some usefulness while attacking as well. When we raid these revived shield teams that are built extremely thick, having AoE crowd control is almost a must, unless you rock a decapitate team, which even then, if you want to save yourself some time and not chew through some bonus HP or bonus defenses, then crowd control will be your best friend. Sandy's leadership skill is rainbow-esque, as everybody and all teammates will benefit from this. The whole idea to throw a smorgasbord of different traits together and all benefit will be the ultimate endgame for leadership skills, as it becomes harder to predict who will be on that team, which makes it harder for the attacker, as now they will suffer from trait advantages for damage because they won't be able to bring everybody on the team that will counter everybody on the defense team. Her AR is Mock and Medicate, which sounds like a talk shit, which is the taunt portion, and Medicate, which means heal, but tanks normally give bonus HP, so a taunt and bonus HP AR goes well with the name. As for her usefulness, I see it mainly coming from her crowd control taunts. The damage output from her Adrenaline Rush will be mediocre on average, and above average if you so happen to use it on some greens. My only issue with red taunting survivors is if you raid greens and you taunt greens, then it sort of becomes a stun off. Who stuns who first with their weapon mod, or they just stun each other. With that risk though should come opportunity, in which if this gamble pays off in your favor, you can crowd control somebody for 3 turns, with taunt being the first turn, and if a stun procs, you get 2 more turns of stun on your enemy. The bonus HP is a very stereotypical mechanic to give tanks, as they are made to protect and take damage, and not necessarily heal raw HP, but bonus HP, so that there's a counter to killing them with bleed, burns, and healing reduction. Her active is taunt again, and with the bonus being reviving someone to 25% HP. Seeing the word revive will probably make your mouths water, but since this is an active and has taunt, you will probably be in situations with her on defense where she will use her active primarily for the taunt instead of the revive. Seeing this can only be used twice and has a cooldown of 4 turns, this may be awkward if used in a very bad moment. For attacking, we have a good idea on when to use it, depending on your team's situation in the fight. But for defense, with a turn 4 initial usage, kind of makes sense to have the initial cooldown be 4 turns, as someone on your team should be dead by turn 4, unless something went really wrong for your enemy, or your defense team is completely out of their league. A quick synergy here with her Adrenaline Rush and active is her Adrenaline Rush and active are taunts to 2 for 1 turn. You can use these back-to-back turns 3 and 4 and have the balls of your enemy in your hand, and you're gonna sit there and look at them in the eyes and tell them not to use their Adrenaline Rushes, or you squeeze. Sandy doesn't come with a locked or bound weapon, so this leaves us with pretty nice options to work with, so we don't have to spend time to craft a special weapon over and over again to get it the way you want. This will save us time and resources. One stat we will want is a defensive scaling stat. Second will be an AP when attacking, and since she taunts enemies, being a red trait survivor, we will want stun when taking damage, which can potentially keep one or people shut down completely. She taunts them for 1 turn, they attack her and get stunned for 2 turns. By the time the stun wears off, her Adrenaline Rush is ready to be launched again. Let me show you the numbers for visually for attacking. Whenever she has full AP, she will Adrenaline Rush. It's going to taunt the enemy, and the enemy has potential to stun themselves. Those taunted enemies hitting her will get her some AP, and all we need is 6 AP for 30 AP per attacking team comps. She attacks next turn and will be at 30 AP plus whatever AP from the taunted enemies, and these enemies are still stunned. Next turn, she attacks again for 60 AP plus AP from the taunted enemies. The enemies are now stunned, and the next turn the stun wears off. At this point, she should be able to use her Adrenaline Rush, especially if she was attacked by one or more survivors that were not taunted. Looking at this on defense, it's going to be the same exact thing. So long as you have one form of AP generation being very large or huge, you will get 40 or 42 AP respectively, which means you are using her Adrenaline Rush every 3 turns without a command. Taunt 1 and stun for 2, very powerful stuff. Quickly running over the types of weapons that you can use for is defense AP when attacking and stun, or if you want to go health AP when attacking and stun. Here I have some numbers before war towers and combat mods from a pure leadership and weapon scaling basis. If you choose to go for a defense weapon, you can get 35%, which will result in 3317 defense and 2079 HP. If you're going to take the HP route, to where you're going to only be able to have 30% HP on your weapon, you will then end up as a result with 2431 defense and 2702 HP. Hopefully these numbers can really get some of you thinking in the right directions of what would be better for the current team comp that you want to put her in. Combat mods, I will build her straight tank even if I wanted to use her on my attack team, as she really isn't there to do tremendous amounts of damage, but to buy your team enough time to do so. I would go with the defense set since she does have the second highest defense in the game. To help her low health pool, we will bring in a health combat mod. Next, we will want to take care of her trait disadvantage by using a defense versus blue, because blues do sting quite a bit. Stun resist, so it doesn't prevent us from using an Adrenaline Rush or active, and the ability to keep gaining AP while attacking. Grays due to blues, and since she has a taunt, it will help in that department. Last wildcard mod can be a defense or confuse resist, as we just keep adding to the defense stat just to make her an immovable object, or if you think she is okay in the defense area and you want to make sure she is less likely to be disrupted, you can go confuse resist for the Sadiq actives and other confuse based Adrenaline Rushes. Team comps, I will be making 1 attack team and 2 defense teams. Our attack team will have a Mirabelle leader with Sandy and Sadiq wielding stun and impair when taking damaged weapons. This will give us 60% of the team, or 3 out of 5, to have some sort of damage control with 2 stun guns on our Reds and 1 impair weapon for our Command Sadiq. This will leave us with 2 hard hitters being Tara and Morgan or Dwight. The longer the fight lasts, then Tara can easily carry. If you have follow-up Morgan, he can rip up random people often, or if we can chuck in Dwight, as his Adrenaline Rush can remove defense buffs, which is always good for an attack team while buffing the team with offensive buffs to make the killing go faster. On top of having a stun and impaired team just by attacking Mirabelle, Sandy, and Sadiq, we have Sandy coming in with taunts as well for more damage control and AR blockage. First defense team, we will use Erica as a leader. Bringing in Sandy will bring taunts to this team and another stun gun when being attacked. Applying bonus HP with Erica and Sandy when they Adrenaline Rush will be a nice damn it moment for your enemy. Command Sadiq, we bring in so that turn 2 we have either Erica, Mackenzie, or Holly for some major sustain to the team, or if Sandy gets commanded, this will allow 2 enemies to not be able to use any actives or Adrenaline Rushes. For the case the enemy brings in some heavy stun weapons and confuse, taunt, and impair actives, we use Mackenzie to clean it up so your team can keep on hissing your enemy off to the point of rage. Holly, since we do bring in taunts to this team, Elusive will be an amazing call here. I think Princess has one of the best actives in the game due to her taunt and elusive ability. Sandy having taunts and elusive is basically Princess's active on steroids, and taunts plus elusives now should really not be overlooked. Last defense team, we use Sandy as a leader so we can bring in some Kappa pride to the team. Since we show a red leader, and if no one knows our team yet, then I would expect them to bring in some blues, as showing one of your survivors being red will probably lead to initially being hit by blues for trait damage advantage. With that in mind, we bring in a yellow human shield so that we can absolute defense one or both shots coming from a double attack. We will want to bring in a healer to a defense team, or you will potentially be slowly dwindled to death, and if you don't have sustain, then you won't be able to recoup after a major crowd control hit and or burst damage to your team, so we bring in Guardian 2 Glenn. Guardian 2 Glenn also applies shields, which will help in damage control and AP gains to the enemy. Barker for a little bit of tankiness, but mainly for the AP manipulation, so we can stop 3 enemy adrenaline rushes while giving one of our own the ability to pop an adrenaline rush off. Command Glenn so that we can get an AR usage on turn 2. And that's going to wrap up the Survivor Spotlight of Sandy. I will definitely have to rethink my initial impressions of her when I was going over her when the Season 2 leaks were out, as now that I've been able to give more time to thinking about her, I really think she's a pretty strong character if utilized correctly, but that goes for any Survivor out there. But overall, she is a pretty damn good character. This might lead me into eventually buying her if something comes out or if I get lucky on a pull where I can actually start utilizing more reds. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, the page lab 40 link positive. Please get a nice credit, chop the like, subscribe button. Make sure you leave a comment down below. It's greatly appreciated. And on that, I'll catch you on the next video.